And we're live.
Well, we have 15 seconds or so.
Yeah, we got like our 10-second ad break at the beginning. What episode is this? Like 50, 52? Is that a full
Is it a
year?
year?
Is that
Are we at a year?
That is a full year of punch card investing.
Oh
52
my
weeks.
gosh.
We made it. I didn't even realize it till now. I typed it in earlier and it didn't register. We made it, guys.
Yes.
Well, three of us made it, and I don't know how long have you. When was your first episode, Jason? Like,
I don't know. I feel like maybe
it was a good
at
way
least 6 to 9 months ago or something like that. 6 to 8 months ago.
So you're almost there.
Yeah.
But hey, he's been a regular since the beginning too, and the king of the chat.
Yeah.
Well, it's 13F season. Before we dive into that, just got to remind all you fine folks, check out all the great stuff in the description below. We got our discount links with ShareSite and Seeking Alpha. So if you want to sign up for their premium service, we have a discount link for that. That would go a long way towards helping the channel as well. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fantastic stuff. Join the Discord. That's free. Go ahead and check that out in the description. Otherwise, I think that pretty much covers it. We might as well just start diving through some of these 13Fs.
Let's dive.
You know, it's been a bumpy start to the year. Q1 was down. So this is looking at quarter one, what all the super investors have been doing or not doing. And it won't factor in what's happened maybe in the last couple of months, which have probably been a bit more action-packed, I would think, after March. But hey, we'll see in a couple of months' time. It's a decent way to potentially find some ideas looking at 13Fs and different regulatory filings that super investors have to disclose. It's kind of the premise if you're looking for investment ideas. Although do realize that this is a bit of an incomplete analysis and that 13F filings don't show everything. So don't think that this is the investors' total portfolio and all their moves, because there's a lot of things we can't see. So always take it with a grain of salt. All right. With that said, who do we want to start with?
Oh, who do we want to start with? Well, I'm looking at the comments just to get a crowd favorite here. Rob Vinal is coming up right off the bat.
Brad, I think you're the crowd favorite. Everyone wants to see your.
Everyone wants to know Brad. What's up, Stock Compounders? Brad here.
Should we look at Rob Vinal just to get things up?
Let's go through it.
Ticker.
Rob had the good fortune of being mentioned in a pretty recent podcast, or I guess interview, that Monish Pabrai gave as a guy to pay attention to, an up-and-comer. Although I don't think he's very far behind Pabrai in terms of AUM. So Guy Spear mentioned Rob Vinal as well as someone to keep an eye on. So we're pulling it up here.
Elephant in the room. Shall we start with that?
Big elephant.
Giant double down.
So what did he do? He like almost 4x'd his position in Carvana in Q1.
And
before a massive drop.
Yeah, it's fallen further.
Yeah. What do you guys think about that?
I wonder if he's bought even more.
Wasn't the news that Carvana is planning on changing their entire business model or something? I just saw an article somewhere.
So Carvana is down 71 or 72% from the low in quarter one. So it's down a lot more since then. Wow. So it'll be interesting to see what he did in quarter two.
Yes.
I have a 5% position in Carvana now.
Nice.
So
that's newer, right?
Your portfolio.
Right? Sorry, go ahead. Or Karan?
Karan, go ahead.
5% of the company or 5% of the
That's important to specify.
Depends on if they have to issue more shares throughout this period. But right now I'm not at 5%. But it's a 5% position for me. And yeah, recently they put out like a 23-page or longer PDF, like an update to their operating plan, and they're going to focus on cash flow and profits and kind of scale back their growth operation to meet the current level of demand. But I'm kind of looking at it like heads I lose, and I could lose real bad, but tails I could get a 50 bagger or more. Legitimately, that's the way I'm looking at it. And the upside was too high for me to kind of get away from it. So that's why I'm in it. And then not being a super investor and looking up to these guys like Cliff Sosin and Rob Vinall, I was able to go, okay, if these guys are okay with the risk, then I kind of am too. So I like it. It's an extremely interesting situation.
When did you add? That's pretty recent, right?
Yeah, I think my cost basis is like $32 or $33. So like within the last, I think it was earlier this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll also.
So you're a little bit up, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's one of those things. I'm looking to hold this thing forever.
Yeah.
It's in the tin can back there. Every stock I buy, I hold. I'm kidding. But I really am looking out a long term with this, and a little pop here. I am very aware that this thing, if things work out well in the short term, it could go up 2 or 3 times. But I'm really not looking at selling it until we get way in the future and we can see if they can really grow this thing.
Mhm.
So you said they're scaling back, I guess, marketing spend and growth here type things, try and rein this in a bit because they're hemorrhaging cash flow. Deep negative. So did they specify what their path would be? Just slowing marketing spend, or what are they looking at?
I think it's basically everything. So I know they laid off, what was it, like maybe 2,500 people or something like that. If you read about Carvana, basically their operating plan had been, hey, people want this thing. We have demand. We're going to build out 6 to 12 months in advance of our demand. And so if they're only able to service X amount of cars during a quarter, but they're looking at what they're going to be able to service in like 6 months to a year, they've been building that way. So they've been advertising in markets they don't even sell cars in yet. They've been building out more reconditioning centers and building out their transportation network all in advance. And so what they're doing is that I think they're scaling that back, and they're just focusing on producing cash flow and not spending in anticipation of what the demand is going to be like 6 to 12 months from now, which is what they've been doing, to more so spending to closer to the demand they're seeing now. And it's interesting, before all this happened, I think Q4 2021, they got to basically break even on EBITDA. So they were getting there. But then they got hit with a lot of things that they did not anticipate. Like at one point, 30% of their workforce was out because of Omicron, and then demand in the used car market has dropped because the prices have gone up, and there's been a demand destruction there. But I think it was Q1 this year. I think the overall used car market went down like 15% or 14%, and Carvana's I think units sold went up 14 or 15% in Q1. So the market was going down 14 or 15, let's call it 15%, and their units sold were going up 15%, which is slow growth for them, but it shows that they were taking market share. If you can look past some huge negatives, there was a lot to like there in terms of the future story. And the way I looked at it was like, I just kept watching it go down. I just kept watching it go down every day. Like, it's year to date, it's down 86%. And the 1 year it's down 86%. So, and from the high, it's actually down. The high was in August. It's down 91%. And I just got to a point where I was someone looking at this business saying, no, this business makes sense. Like, I think this can work. Are they going to go broke? And if they're not going to go broke, doesn't that mean this is a huge opportunity? And I just judged it as, I think there's a high enough chance that they don't go broke that I want to be in there for the upside. So that's kind of the situation with them.
So Jason, I got to ask, because I know you're not a big fan of Seritage. Is the reason you would prefer, and they're kind of in a vaguely similar position where you got some good upside and some obvious downside. Probably not going to stay where it is, though. It's either going to go up or down.
Getting a little hot under the collar on that comment.
Yeah, right. Is it because you see much more upside in Carvana?
Yes, extra. When I look at Seritage, I look at a company that it doesn't matter at this point what the real estate is worth. Brad's done a lot of hard work. Tom has ridden Brad's coattails and said he did a lot of hard work, but it was all based on Brad. And we all know they have a ton of valuable real estate, but it just looks like, because the pressure they're under, because the decisions they're making at the company, it looks like they're going to cash out. And since everybody knows they're going to cash out, it seems like they're not going to get more than $15, $16, $17, $18 a share. I think maybe it's a double at this point, maybe. And the nice thing about that is, yeah, it could happen quickly, which someone pointed out on Twitter, and I didn't think about that. So that's a good point. But when I look at Carvana, 50 to 100 bagger. So
if it survives.
If it survives, and yeah, that's the main thing. And if there's the anticipated demand there, and if they can keep growing their market share, but
Big
I mean,
ifs. Yeah.
Maybe I really don't question the demand side of things and the upside, and then on the downside, I don't know. I just I don't basically, like, if you kind of look at the gross margins of the vehicles sold, and then you look at the people backing the company and their ability to kind of infuse it with some cash, like they just did at $80 a share. They issued some more shares, and the father and son owners were able to buy those shares. I think I just look at them, and I think they can make it. So
I want to make sure we cover a number of 13Fs here. Anybody want to add anything on Carvana or Rob Vinall? I'll just say out of the super.
I think Jason summarized it about as well as he could. There's certainly the bull case with the obvious, there's risk reward.
I just want to add, out of the super investors I follow, Carvana had the most number of investors buying at 3. You've got Rob Vinall, Cliff Sosin, and Brian, is it Brian Lawrence? Yeah, Oak Cliff Capital. So there's a lot of people that think this thing is a donut. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Did Cliff Sosin do anything else?
That's really the only thing of size he did.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can't forget our
Party City also.
Sorry, Karan?
Cliff Sosin holding Party City also.
Yeah, I think it's his smallest holding.
Is it? Okay.
That tanked hard after earnings, right, recently?
Right.
Yeah, 60% in one day.
Oh, wow. So I wonder if he's added it all.
Parties here. That's not a fun day.
Yeah, I've been to Party City like a few times in my life, and yeah, it's you don't seem to leave feeling happy.
Oh, you know what's interesting? I just looked at Open Insider because I was going to tell you that I had seen him buy more during the quarter. Okay, we see that on the 13F. Now I see a filing from May 11th, and he sold 2% of his position there. Only 600,000, but that was the first time I've seen him sell in a while. And you look at the buys before that: $6, $5, $3, and now he sells a little bit at 145. I don't know if he needed cash for something else or if he wanted to buy even more Carvana. I'm not sure.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Should we do our namesake, Norbert Liu?
Oh yeah, let's talk about Norbert.
We forget about him sometimes.
I don't.
Could I ask you guys where you first heard of him? Because I had not heard of him until I heard you guys talking about him.
I heard about him from Tom first, so I don't know.
I don't remember. It might have been an NVR thing. I think he had a pretty early write-up on NVR on VIC, Value Investors Club. I think that's how I found out.
Was it for Naked Wines or
no?
Yeah, what was it?
NVR.
Probably NVR.
No, but like, what was there? Oh, okay, sure.
What did he do in the last quarter?
No, was there a particular holding that? I don't think it was that one.
No.
Oh, he has Winnebago as well, so I don't know. Maybe that if that's how Tom came across
that's
him.
the thing he did. Yeah, that's the thing he did in the last quarter, basically.
No, but
if you notice Naked Wines, that's from Q4. That's.
I wonder if Tom is cloning him when he buys Thor.
Tom was commenting on this. He was saying how he's been ahead of the curve on Thor with that.
That's what happens when you travel the world and people ask you for photos and you become a celebrity.
Yeah, right.
Last week he was talking. You guys interviewed him for 99% of the show.
Of course.
And he was talking about people recognizing him and taking his picture. And at some point in the episode, there was a quote where he said, "I am just a human." And so I think it might have been getting to his head a little bit, but it's well deserved. Tom, if he's out there.
I mean, he went to Mecca, so we had to pick his brain a little bit. Yeah. All right. What else? Who else do we want to talk about here?
Tom's in the chat. He says he sent the same message on Thor to. Sounds like he sent it to you too, Jason.
Yeah. So you guys want to look at Monish?
Sure.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Oh, if you look at him on Ticker, because I usually look at Whale Wisdom, someone was commenting on Twitter the other day that he had sold a lot of Rain Industries.
Mm-hmm.
I had not seen that.
Yeah.
He'd sold Rain last quarter, right? I think.
I feel like he's been kind of offloading Rain as other opportunities arise.
Yep.
Wow. So Shinnikin way down.
Yeah.
Seritage is out of the picture. Rain Industries way down. See, I thought Rain had been like a really big holding that he had continued to buy more of. So that's interesting.
No, it was never really a long-term thing for him.
Are any of you guys
where all this money went
in Micron or
Turkey?
Yeah, probably went to Turkey.
As far as educated guess.
So Micron's down to $70 a share. I think Lee Lu and Monish and those guys maybe got in there in the 30s or low 40s.
Mm-hmm.
I was briefly a shareholder, but it's just not a company I'm really attracted to. Just industry-wise, it's not really something I'm into. Are any of you shareholders or curious, given that it's continued to be his largest position?
Brad, it's your largest, right?
Yeah, it is my largest holding, but I want to keep it on, what these guys are doing for this one.
Brad doesn't want to talk about it. That's
more interesting to me anyway. Pabrai, so you can't see that he bought anything recently. But there is what is it, a life insurance company in Turkey that, there's rumor that he entered that one.
I think it might be more than rumor. Someone was telling me that there's like an official filing where he shows up there as an owner or something like that. I tweeted out a video yesterday from a friend of my show. Get the video. It's by Eunice, and I'll get the title so you can find it on YouTube for you.
I tweeted it out as well. It's something.
Monish Pabrai's Turkish compounder, Agesa, Agesa, and then my analysis. So
I told him to name it that. He had like some obscure name. I was like, no.
Yeah.
Eunice, come on. You've got to be more keyword friendly here. Let's go right for it.
But I mean, Eunice is our man on the ground. I don't think he's in Turkey right now, but
he's in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
He's going to school where I went to school, UW-Madison. So we've got kind of a connection there, which is fun.
Yeah, that's like an interesting circle there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he kind of breaks it down, but I haven't seen that company show up here in Ticker. But I love Racist. We see Racist there, but all quiet there for Monish, at least in terms of buys.
Yep, keeping it on the DL.
This is a pretty quiet 13F compared to some of the recent ones, it seems like.
I just want to give everyone context for the market in Q1. So through March 15th, year to date, the market had dropped, the S&P 500 had dropped 13%, but then it came back up through the end of March, and it ended the quarter only down 5%. And then since the end of the quarter, it's down 14%. Now it's down 20%. So a lot of these massive drops in some of these holdings really have happened after April 1. So we'll get more context in Q2.
Absolutely.
Guys, there are also other holdings that are missing over here because he has Indian Energy Exchange. That's not showing up here. So At least he mentioned
Yeah.
he had
I
India.
mean,
He
there are
must
definitely
be-
holdings missing.
Must be under the threshold for reporting there.
Or might be a holding in the Indian subsidiary that he has.
Yeah.
The one that Matt Peterson's a part of or something.
Uh-huh. Could be.
Could be. Yeah.
All right. Who else do we want to look at?
There's no
Spear.
process also, right? Over here.
Yeah, Process doesn't show up there either.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. I'm quite confident he's still in that. Yeah, Guy Spear. I mean, sure.
Just for the
Guys,
laughs.
the William Green podcast should be out soon. Right? It was on Wednesday.
William and Guy.
William and Monish.
William and Monish.
Oh, yeah, I hadn't heard about that one.
Just for laughs.
What are we laughing at?
Guy Spear,
Yeah.
quiet.
Well, we're learning and we're seeing in the lesson of owning wonderful businesses that are defensive and are compounders, and then having
I
the
didn't say it was
discipline
bad,
not to mess
Jason.
Such a well-balanced portfolio, seriously.
I know it really is. The position
how-
sizing, yep.
Perfect,
Well,
yeah.
It's interesting. I think Tom put out a tweet saying, Guy Spear doing it again, sitting on his hands, watching paint dry. And Guy Spear actually responded. He said he sold Twitter. So I don't know if there's just an error in how it's showing here, or if he sold just after the end of the first quarter. But
It's probably
there was
after the
some selling.
quarter because
Yeah.
on Whale Wisdom it shows up still in there as well.
Same thing. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess he didn't like all the Elon Musk tomfoolery.
The position was almost so small, you wonder if he was just getting into it to feel what it was like as an owner and maybe learn about it at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe he had a gain on there. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
It could have been.
Could be.
But you know what's interesting? Oh, there it is. What's interesting is the Indian Energy Exchange Company shows up in his portfolio.
Right.
I
Well,
think
maybe he
he
owns
owns-
quite a bit more of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Shareholder report. So that's what he'll be probably listed as one of the promoters if you go through the Indian shareholder report.
Yeah, just because it's
Because they list out all the large shareholders, right? So
sure.
Berkshire Hathaway. Should we get into Berkshire Hathaway? There was a ton of
there's a little
activity in
Little
Q1.
action there.
Whew.
There's been a lot of small moves, but there's been some pretty sizable ones this last quarter. A lot of smaller moves
Yes.
before this. I think we talked about it a little bit. We talked with Tom last week.
Well, there's
Sure.
one that doesn't show here. And it doesn't show because it was a company that Berkshire bought in full, right? And it would be somewhere, I think, in the top 10.
What
Yeah.
what was the
Top
insurance
8.
company? What was it called?
Allegheny.
Allegheny. That's right.
but it's not closed yet, right? The deal. Still
What I thought was interesting, who is it? Chris Bloomstrand, right? The so-called Berkshire Hathaway expert, right? He bought Allegheny, or at least added significantly to it in the first quarter, and he bought Paramount. So I was like, wow, that's impressive. Like there was a fair bit of overlap between what Bloomstrand and what Berkshire was doing in the first quarter. That surprised me.
He's a fun Twitter follow.
Yeah.
He kind of tweets everything I want to say. He's if we're talking about the same guy, sometimes I look at that his tweets. I'm like, wow.
He's pretty raw. Is that what you mean?
I think so. Yeah, I think he talks. I don't know. I've just been I've been impressed on his boldness.
He doesn't
Very
hold
active
back.
on Twitter as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
A lot of oil for Buffett, a lot of Chevron, a lot of Occidental Petroleum. Bought more Apple, and HPQ, of course. The number one thing I've been following with Berkshire is the 466% increase in Floor and Decor.
That's quite a ways down there, huh?
Yeah, it's actually Probably
There it is. Yeah.
probably at this point a 2 to 3% position for. I think it's Ted Weschler. That's who I think it is. But it's obviously Ted or Todd. But I think it's Ted Weschler, and I think now it's like a 2 to 3% position out of the 17 billion that he manages, somewhere around there. Huge increase, and the stock price is basically, I think, a lot lower than it was during Q1. And so I bought one share the other day just to remind myself that I want to continue buying it.
A tracker position.
But it is it's a very impressive company. I'm bullish on the company. I first saw it when I saw Ted Weschler buying, and basically they're setting up 80,000 square foot stores across the country selling flooring material. And they've got a great moat. They've got a great manager. What was throwing me off was the price. It looked expensive to me, even though Berkshire was buying it, but they were only buying at the time like maybe a 0.5% position of Ted Weschler's full holdings. But now he's obviously added it. And apparently there's a secular trend in new houses and then home remodels going from carpet to hard flooring like vinyl and tile. And it's just, when you start reading about this company, it's an amazing company. And the manager, I don't think he went to college. He just started working at Home Depot at 16. He's a prodigy. And now he runs Floor and Decor. And if you think about their competitive position, not only do they go all around the world and like directly source their tile and all that kind of stuff, but they're going to absolutely destroy the mom and pop companies on price and service and convenience and all that. But you think about their two big competitors, Lowe's and Home Depot. These guys allocate 80,000 square feet to flooring and tile and all that. And Lowe's and Home Depot allocate 2 aisles. And they just have an amazing competitive position. They have a long runway when you look at the amount of stores that they plan to continue growing in the United States. And they have like close to net cash, like barely any debt. So it's a really cool idea. I really like it.
You say they have a moat. Is the moat just that they focus on flooring rather than being all diversified like Home Depot, Lowe's?
Yeah, that's their moat. When you think about the actual square footage, like they have 80,000 square feet, the whole store, and Lowe's and Home Depot have 2 aisles, and the way they focus on it, what they can do for their customer and their contractor customers, and then the selection that they have in stock and that they can keep in stock. I don't really think Lowe's and Home Depot can compete with that. Sure. And then when you think about, well, what if Lowe's and Home Depot kind of look around and go, oh, we want to get into this? It's not really on their radar. It's not something they seem to want to be getting into, because if they would have already done it at this point. They're making so much money from other stuff. So just a very cool situation, very shareholder friendly in the sense of the way they communicate with investor relations and lay things out. And just lucky for a shameless cloner like me that the stock price has just continued to fall. So
they've upped their CapEx spend quite a bit. Is that just for expansion, or?
I think that's just purely for new stores. And even when you look at their investor relations stuff, the payback period on the stores is like very quick. It's like maybe 2 or 3 years or something like that, and then it's just all profits after that.
Yeah, revenue growth's been pretty substantial, especially. We had a bit of a housing ridiculousness from 2020 into 21, so huge revenue growth there.
So yeah. I saw in a comment, I think it was on Tom's Guru Investor video, that Berkshire sold Verizon. I didn't see that.
That was a weird move. I thought it was weird when he did it.
That was a pretty big position, wasn't it? It was top 10.
It was substantial. No? I don't know how big though relative to the rest.
To me, that's always just looked like a bond, basically.
Yeah.
It's something to do with money where you can get a 5% dividend.
Where can I park it until I find something better?
Yeah, and then maybe grow it another 5%. But to bring the conversation back to Floor and Decor, I'm looking around. Their 2012 revenue, $335 million. Last trailing 12 months, $3.6 billion. So they've 10x their revenue in 10 years.
So just to move the conversation on from floor and decor, who do we want to talk about next here?
It's interesting though.
Real quick. Here's the Verizon sell. It was, what does that come out to? 100. That's the dollar amount, right? No, this number of shares.
Okay, it's pretty far down. Oh, they still own some. All
They
right.
still own a tiny bit. That's why. So what does that come out to? 157 million shares times approximately $70. That's a lot of money.
Well, that 70 is what they currently own, right? That's their holding, the total amount. 70 million.
Oh, true. Sorry, I thought that was share price.
We don't need to explode our brains over this, Jack.
Yeah, don't do math in public.
Okay, so I think that covers Berkshire pretty well.
The big Chevron purchase as well. Just
Yeah.
very oil focused in the last few months.
Yeah.
And Citigroup as well, wasn't that another one?
Citigroup, yeah, that was a big one.
Like, is it just me, or does he kind of like have a carousel of banks? Like he'll be like, all right, buy Wells Fargo, new bank, and add Citibank. Like Bank of America, he still has, obviously. But
He did for a couple of years. I don't know if that Citigroup one is him or someone else. I kind of think that's someone else, because Citi was the one bank that he did not buy in like 2018, 2019 when he was buying almost every big bank. That was the one he didn't buy. But I think now he's down to Bank of America, and I think that's it.
That's it, yeah.
He has Ally as well.
Oh, then they've had this U.S. Bank Corp, USB, holding for a very long time, and that stock price has just kind of flat.
Ally Bank was a recent ad. They're more of like an auto loan lender, but they're a bank as well. That was a recent ad, but not particularly large.
Yeah, probably definitely Ted or Todd on that.
Yeah.
Lilu had nothing.
Lilu, yeah, let's talk Lilu.
Nothing going on in his 13F.
Yeah, good suggestion, Tom. Appreciate that.
And his 13F is like $2 billion out of the almost 19 billion assets under management. So
right.
I always remind myself, whatever positions I see in there, especially the very small ones, the position sizing is actually a lot smaller.
Yes. Cool.
You guys want to look at someone that I'm considering very soon? We might have to do a facelift on Mount Rushmore, because I might be moving David Abrams into Mount Rushmore.
Oh, wow. I actually looked at David Abrams as well. Let's take a peek. Abrams Capital.
I want to share something with everyone that I tweeted out. Someone sent me a link to a podcast that David Abrams did in 2019. Is it
Abrams Capital?
Yeah,
Abrams Capital. Yeah. It's the only interview I've ever seen with him. It's a podcast called Value Investing with Legends, David Abrams. And
it was in 2019, you said, Jason? 2019,
yeah.
Okay.
And it was the first time I've actually like heard him speak, and it's very funny to me. He sounds very close to Jeff Bezos in terms of actual just sound of the voice, which I thought was funny.
It's funny.
Coupang, another
Coupang. That was the big one.
Yeah, another holding of mine.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah, that's a pure David Abrams clone.
Okay.
He bought it the last 3 quarters, and it's continued to drop, and I've been able to buy at prices lower than him. So very interesting situation. They also just had another insider buy at the company, a director.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I came across a pretty solid write-up on Coupang on Twitter not that long ago. I think it was somebody's Substack.
DJY
article.
Research, maybe?
Yep, that was it.
Yeah, I think it's a membership website, yeah. And one of the free ones they give is Coupang.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was reading an Economist article this week about Coupang, and I did not realize that they had started operations in Japan and Taiwan. Wow. Very dense areas as well, just like South Korea. Kind of fits their model. But I think one of the questions about them has been, are they going to take this model and go just outside of just South Korea? And it looks like they might be.
Is that a big part of your thesis, Jason, that they expand to other countries?
Not really. That's more of like a cherry on top. Because when you listen to the CEO, he talks a lot about whenever someone asks him about that, he goes, "Well, we have a lot of work left to do in South Korea." And when they talk about like the way South Korea's e-commerce market is growing, maybe like 6% a year, something like that, and then their growth within that market share, it does seem like they have a long way to grow, and they have been growing. But it would be, when I'm being truly honest about it, one of the reasons I'm buying it is, if they can do what they've done there in other Asian countries, that would obviously be a lot better. So I'm kind of looking at it like possibly you might be able to get Amazon like 2004, 2005, something like that.
Right. Do they have a cloud component? I've heard them described as the Amazon of Korea. Do they have that piece as well?
We have like stuff where you can like order food and they'll deliver it to you. So that's pretty cool. And free returns for membership people. But I don't think we have a cloud right now. And that's obviously one thing that's been missing in terms of that thesis. But I guess the mindset is if they keep growing and they're able to keep starting new businesses and doing all that kind of stuff, we might get a breakaway winner at some point, even if it's not the cloud.
Cool.
Someone's saying gun to the head, Coupang or Carvana.
Got to pick.
Carvana, because like I'm saying, 50 to 100 bagger potentially.
More upside potential.
Who's next, guys?
Who's next?
Deep
Kathy
Value.
Wood. I mean, people are getting a lot of love for Kathy Wood.
Deep Value.
Isn't there a new ETF launch where you can buy ARK like 2x or something, like leverage?
They've issued a leverage fund.
ARK. Yeah, leverage ARK.
Why not? When you have like 15 ETFs, what's a 16th? You know.
So there's a Bloomberg article from May 14th I was reading, titled "Kathy Wood just keeps buying Coinbase and getting more inflows." So they're actually continuing to get inflows into their investment vehicles, net inflows, which I was impressed by.
Like
That
year
actually
to
is
date
impressive.
net inflows.
Yeah, like people are still
Wow.
able to grow their investment base, and they were saying one reason people like her investors like her, is that she's upfront about the plan. She's and she's also consistent with the plan, being on YouTube and in interviews continually, telling investors what the plan is. It's interesting. Her and Elon seem to have something going on. He replies to her. Sometimes I see it in the feed. Or vice versa.
Well, her fund certainly helped in the big rise from the last couple of years.
Yeah, Tesla's down big now. It's down
Down to 700 or under 700, I think now.
Yeah, down 45% year to date.
Entering deep value territory. I did my analysis on April 1st.
ARK sticks to its strategy. Investors know exactly what they're going to get, is what the article says. And this reminds me of Guy Spears' interview with Investing with Tom. At one point, I think he was answering my question. He said, you have to always be careful with these just public investors, because he said something to the effect of everybody always has their own interests when they're talking. And so just like, I guess people like that Kathy Wood sticks to the story. One thing I'm remembering when I watch our super investor interviews and stuff is that it's not just us watching, it's their investors as well. So you always kind of have to put yourself in their shoes and think about their perspective.
Show me the incentive, though.
True. Yeah.
Frank's in the house.
Ooh,
What up,
breaking
Frank?
His man, John Huber. What's his fund?
Wait, I'm gonna send this to you in the private chat so you can just click on it, because I don't
That's
think
helpful.
it's in ticker. So it should be there.
Google Doc. That's
I'm old school, man.
That's bootstrapped. I appreciate the hustle.
Okay, so if you can zoom in a little bit, I don't know if you can do that. But.
Yeah.
So John Huber really just started filing 13Fs, starting not this last quarter, but the one before. And so I was able to see, okay, what has he done from that Q4 into Q1? And so the main thing, pull up the other tab.
The rename tab? This one?
Yeah, this one. So if you look at that change column, that's how much the number of shares changed from Q4 to Q1. So the big things I noticed, Netflix, pretty big increase, 35%. Google, new position in Google. It was mostly GOOGL, but he did some, Class C shares, the GOOG. And then Copart was another big ad. So those are the three that caught my attention with John Huber. But yeah, I really like his stuff. He puts out not a whole lot, but when he puts out different writings, I find them very thought-provoking. So he's kind of a younger investor that I'm paying a lot of attention to.
So Saber, I had not heard of him before.
Saber,
I'm gonna
Saber
follow him on
Capital.
Twitter. And you've kind of watched his evolution from being someone that did not have 100 million under management and was not putting out 13Fs to someone who is now.
Yeah, I've probably been following him for six months. So it's not like I've been tracking him super closely, but I really resonate with his framework. He's looking for the long-term compounders. He's very focused on competitive advantage, return on reinvested capital, all that stuff. So his framework resonates.
That seems to match most of his portfolio or all of the portfolio there.
Yeah.
It looks like
Rankins' endorsement.
ETF.
What'd you say, Karan? You were reverberating a little bit there.
It looks like the QQQ ETF, pretty much.
Yeah, actually.
That's what it looks like to me.
It's got. Karan, it's got the number one holding of all time right here.
I think he's exited the position, by the way.
You think what?
It is below cash value. So
the next tab is 0, right?
Oh no, this was.
Oh, no. Okay.
This was just from Q4. So the next tab is my update of Q1.
So this one's up to date.
Yeah. So he didn't own it in He bought it in Q1 essentially. Pershing Square Tontine Holdings, which surprised me. But it's a small stake.
It's weird as a small stake too. I don't know what the goal of it here is.
Yeah. So that's John Huber.
All right.
Okay, who else? Thanks for asking.
I like
Frank.
Michael Burry's 13F. I thought that was very good.
The short Apple headline.
Did he have any old positions, or is everything new for Burry in this?
What? I always forget his fund name.
You always forget that.
What is it?
Scion.
Oh, that's right. I don't always forget his, but I forget someone's. It usually changes. I've gotten better.
He's been holding, I think, Bristol Myers from previous. And I think Buffett recently sold Bristol Myers, right? So
many things.
Wow. And a lot of it is overseas.
And this isn't everything.
Wow.
Because he's got his is he short Apple, or does he have like options? Like what's going on there?
I think he's holding puts.
Yeah.
If you pull up his actual 13F, you should be able to see that. But
I'd have to find that, Brad.
Yeah, you don't need to. I'm okay with it.
And then we'd have to look at a 13F.
Yeah, they're pretty hard to look at.
Yeah, Ticker provides this luxury right here. You get used to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you want to say anything about this, Karan, or do you just want to show us the incredible activity?
The activity is good enough. We can move on.
Feast your eyes.
The opposite of Guy Spear. Should we look at Altifox, Connor Haley?
Sure.
Altifox. I think this is another one that they just started having to file 13Fs.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a quarter ago or 2 quarters ago, something like that.
Yeah. And this guy, I mean, he's just been crushing it. He hasn't been in the game that long. I think 2018 is maybe when they launched. But insane returns in those 4 years. So Collectors Universe, I think they've owned since they started the fund. Google. Yeah, one of the things that caught my attention, Leo Vegas, that I believe is a Swedish company, and they're in mobile, I think, gambling. So you don't have to go to the convenience store anymore to buy your $1 lottery ticket. You can just pull it up on your phone.
It's lottery tickets, mobile.
I don't know what it is exactly, but
usually it's like some more addictive games.
Yeah, like poker, right? Poker.
Yeah. Or video poker, not actual poker. Video poker where you're facing a computer.
Yeah. So there's some interesting stuff in there. A lot of these are small caps or even micro caps. So it's fun to kind of comb through them.
Have you looked at some of these smaller ones?
Not yet. I just kind of put my...
Other than Leo Vegas?
No.
There are some weird names here.
Yeah, is it Houghton Mifflin? I don't know how to pronounce it. That one just got acquired recently. So, and he wasn't super happy about that. He thought, they didn't pay enough for it, but that one's no longer publicly traded.
The risk of small caps, I suppose.
Yeah.
Someone mentioned that even the Collectors Universe went private.
Who went?
Okay.
Who did?
Collectors Universe, the first one. Yeah.
Right.
I was going to say, speaking of acquisitions, I don't think we mentioned Activision for Berkshire. We mentioned it on the last week's episode, but that's another. You could call it unusual, in that it's a merger arbitrage, not your typical compounder sort of approach.
A workout, yeah.
Do you guys recall Buffett saying at the annual meeting that he thinks it's going to go through because Microsoft has the money, but if it doesn't go through, who knows what happens? Did he say something to that effect?
Yeah, that's about what he said.
Yeah.
What did that strike anybody else as kind of weird?
I thought it was weird. I did. It's all, I know they were kind of saying, or Buffett was saying, that like merger arbitrage is like, it's kind of going back to our roots or something to that effect. But it just still felt kind of weird in the current Berkshire portfolio. But especially given you're right, Jason, that was a strange comment.
Yeah, I don't think we're getting the full picture in terms of how Buffett is seeing things.
Can I throw something weird out about that one?
Sure.
Go for it.
Putting a few things together because something just doesn't make sense. And so Ted or Todd bought that company, Blizzard, whatever the hell. I'm a 10-cent video game guy, so.
Oh, sure.
Activision Blizzard. Someone in the office buys that, one of the fellows in the office, as he says, and then like days later, news comes out about the merger, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there was some kind of like storm of articles about like, oh, look, Buffett bought it the day before, Buffett bought it 2 days before, or whatever. And then at the annual meeting, he's talking about like, it wasn't Buffett. It's he didn't say clickbait, but he's like, it was not me. And so he's seeing these articles. And then those guys sell that company, we think, and then Buffett makes a huge position. I think there might be something to that, some kind of reputational thing where Buffett goes, no, we didn't have any insider information. We wanted to buy this business anyway. And you know what? We'll buy it after the merger is announced. I'll buy it after it's announced. I'll buy it after the price has shot up. So it wasn't any of the nonsense that people are saying. The reason I think that is because they asked him why he sold the airplanes at the last annual meeting or the year before or something during one of the Corona virtual ones. And he said he did not think it would be proper for his company to be a major shareholder of the airlines as they were getting a government bailout. So he made an investment decision based on a reputational aspect. So I thought possibly that's what he's doing with this Activision Blizzard. And maybe if that's why he did it, maybe that explains why none of it kind of makes sense.
It's a pretty.
What do you guys
it's a
think about
pretty
that?
expensive way to do it. I mean, it's billions of dollars here. It's like,
Well, he came clean about that he didn't buy it originally. It was Ted or Todd in the Charlie Rose interview. I think he went into detail on Activision.
Right, exactly. And then so he's saying, well, you know what, we'll still buy it even at a higher price. So I thought maybe that could explain things, but
I don't
know.
think so. I don't
Really?
think so.
it seems like I think if that was the case, I don't think it would be as big as it is. I get what you're saying. Like it makes some sense, but I don't think it adds up to the scale that it's at.
So how big? I'm just on their 13F now. It looks like it is big, $5 billion.
Yeah, it's big.
It's big, but there's still something weird about it. Like that comment was just like, what do you mean? Who knows what's going to happen?
Almost like, I don't really care what happens. It's kind of what it sounded like. It was just kind of it was a little weird.
But again, maybe he's just playing his cards close to the vest and doesn't want to share what he thinks the company's worth. Maybe.
And I mean, he's probably not going to say everything exactly as he would have scripted it. As he's just speaking from the cuff in a meeting like that.
It's a hard act.
Anybody else we should look at in the comments? Let us know.
Someone mentioned, I think it was Seth Klarman.
Oh yeah, sure. Baupost.
They want to look up Baupost and Greg Alexander.
Baupost and Conifer. All right.
And Markel.
Markel.
Kupang.
You say Kupang, I say coupon kind of thing, huh?
I say Kupang, you say coupon. The company says coupon. The rest of the world says coupon. But I say Kupang.
Well, you have a significant stake, so who are we to argue with you?
Yeah.
All right, pulling up Baupost now.
Baupost, all right. One of the goats. Can you say one of the goats? That doesn't make sense.
He's a super investor.
He is a super investor. What has he done? Corvo. I don't know what that is, but
I've seen ads for them at some point.
Really?
What do they do? The name is definitely familiar. I don't know what I would have seen an ad, but like I swear I have.
They engage in the provision of core technologies and radio frequency solutions for mobile infrastructure and aerospace and defense applications. So
okay, good summary.
Yeah.
What else has he been up to this quarter?
Bought more Google.
Trimmed Intel as well. I saw.
Significant add to Fiserv. I don't know what Fiserv is really. Dropbox.
Dropbox, that's a pretty big ad.
Yep, significant add to Dropbox.
What's this Encompass Health here? A 300% ad. Still decently small position.
Yeah.
About the same as those others we were mentioning. And
yeah, I mean, Klarman, based on these allocations, it seems to me like he's clearly in more of a capital preservation mode than in terms of cloning.
I found Baupost for me impossible to clone. There's too many moves. There's too many positions that I mostly stopped looking at them. I still look at it to see if there's any major position that I want to look at, but I've kind of stopped looking at them very closely.
Yeah. Should we look at Greg Alexander? And then I want to do Funsmith right after that.
Oh yeah, Funsmith with their million holdings. Did I see a large cap index?
For some reason, I give him a pass for that. I'm not sure why. There must be some bias in there.
He makes good videos. What's Greg Alexander's
Conifer.
again?
Conifer. And I think, Greg got rid of Baba, so we won't see that here anymore. That was a pretty big holding, if I recall. So You notice the allocation really drops off pretty quick after, the first 5 or so.
Yeah. Trimming naked blinds here.
Oh, did he? When was that? Okay, recently.
Yeah, that was a couple days ago.
Oh no, that was a year ago.
Oh, what? Why is it?
Because it's not a 13F.
That's a little weird.
No, it's how they do it.
Yeah, just how they're showing it. Never mind.
I'm surprised he's added to Yandex. It's a Russian company, right?
Oh, right. I saw it had Russian exposure. Yeah. Is it an actual? Where is it? It's not headquartered in Russia.
I think in Netherlands, is it?
That sounds.
Amsterdam.
Yeah.
I don't know much about the company.
No, I mean it's funny reading through the description. It's like, wait, what do you guys do?
I'm pretty sure it's a search engine of Russia. I'm pretty sure.
A Russian search engine.
I think so. And it says their headquarters is in Moscow. It might just trade on the Amsterdam exchange.
Well, if all the other search engines are leaving, maybe they'll have an advantage.
So it says it's based in the Netherlands, but maybe its headquarters is somewhere else. Could that be a thing?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at, I'm pretty sure it's a Russian company. If you Google it, it says Yandex is a multinational corporation primarily for Russian and Russian language users, and I'm pretty sure the main thing is a search engine.
Yeah. Not only did he added to Yandex significantly. It was like a 4x of his initial stake in Yandex.
That was
it 172%?
Yeah, it's
almost 3x.
Almost
3x. Yeah.
I'm always struck when I look at his 13F. And by the way, he's not someone that I have a lot of, I'm not familiar with him. I just know that I think Buffett talked about him once, and then I saw you guys talking about him. But I'm always struck by the Stellantis position, the big position just sitting there. One of kind of the last people we follow holding it.
Uh-huh. Tom might still own it. I'm not sure.
I think Tom exited.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it went down, and then Tom said, I'm out. Got to bring him back down to earth a little bit, guys.
Yeah.
Why don't we squeeze in a couple more? Maybe
Funsmith. Let's look at Funsmith.
Before we do Funsmith, let's do our man Bill Ackman. This one will look
okay. Bill Ackman.
Yeah, and you guys in the chat, I see Frank has a question just kind of off 13Fs. If you have any off 13F questions.
Yeah, and let us know in the chat what you think about Bill Ackman as we're looking up Pershing Square here.
The charged question. Give us your thoughts on Bill Ackman.
So the 13F actually shows a buy of Netflix because I think he bought it and then sold it.
And he straddled the quarter cutoff.
Yeah. So a slight ad was at Canadian Pacific Railway.
And I wonder how much of this was to make room for Netflix and what it's going to look like next quarter.
Right.
You need to rebalance. Tax loss harvesting is the buzzword of this year.
Wow. So what is that Universal Music Group? Usually I'm looking at Whale Wisdom. So I didn't see that on there.
UMG. That was the one that was the SPAC purchase where Tontine was going to get.
It's from Vivendi, they own 10% of the company.
Wow.
But instead of the SPAC getting it, they passed it to themselves, basically, to Pershing Square, the main fund. And they were up immediately, and I think they're actually down now quite a bit because it's sunk pretty hard in the last few months. But they got it for well below IPO price.
Yeah. The next 13F will be very different if Pershing Square Tontine Holdings does something. Because that's on July 24th. So.
Oh, is that when it ends?
Yeah, that's the deadline. July 24th. So 2 months from now.
I got to say, I really like looking at his 13F as well. Like you guys, we were talking about Guy Spears 13F. I like the way he's got
he does a bit more hedging things on the side though, so keep that in mind. But
right,
interest rate reports famously
a bit.
shorts.
The hedges have generated more than his actual positions.
Yeah, his active moves have done phenomenally over the last couple of years.
It's crazy how much happens in the world and news comes and goes, because I had totally blanked out on that for a minute. The whole CNBC thing and the Corona thing. And
hell is coming.
The dreams and the hell is coming.
Hell is coming.
World's moving fast. Yeah.
He covered all the losses in the dip and then just rolled it into his main holdings.
Yeah.
So. PR master.
The virus virtuoso. That was my nickname during that time.
PR master, Bill Ackman.
He played it like a fiddle the whole thing.
That's good. That's good.
Jamie, you could comment here. Ackman always seems to have quite a few misses, but some very big hits. He ends up with good long-term performance. So the big hits carry.
Well, it just goes to show you don't need to have a
100
batting average here.
Yeah. It's got to be good enough. One big winner can carry a lot.
Mm-hmm. Funsmith.
Right, Funsmith time. Doesn't Ticker not show everything because he has a few funds?
No, I think it does mostly.
Well, it shows the main one, I guess. So let's see here. 61 holdings.
Yeah, that's across, I think, 3 or 4 different.
Oh, that's a big trim of Microsoft there. Was it to buy other things? Well, any particular reason? Do we know?
I haven't heard him talk about that yet. He probably will.
There are a lot of holdings, though. A lot of trimming going on.
Is this? Does he run like more of a mutual fund kind of thing, or?
Looks like it.
Lots of large caps.
So the things that caught my eye with Terry, Adobe was a fairly sizable ad. And
where was it?
It's
somewhere. Control F it is.
Yeah. Go back up. It wasn't that far down.
There it is.
And then what's Mettler Toledo were the two kind of big ads for the main fund, for the flagship fund.
Big in quotes.
Yeah.
Do you know what his performance has been like over the last few years?
Over the last few years, I don't, but he's pretty transparent about his performance. I think every month they put out a fact sheet and update all of the performance figures. So you should be able to see that.
This is a lot of selling. Is it just me, or is he like building up a cash position? Or is there stuff we can't see?
Or there are redemptions.
We're selling than buying here.
There's people leaving.
Oh, just pure fund outflows?
Yeah, could be.
Mm. Yeah, I guess that's a good point.
Adobe, I want to mention I did like a 1,000 bagger, list a while back, maybe 9 months ago or something, and Adobe made that list. So it's a very premier list of 1,000 baggers.
I think I mentioned it on the show before, but they have their like stock coupon deal where like if you buy a share of Adobe, you get a coupon on like their subscription or something. It's like on their. Is that
right?
It's so wild.
I've never heard about that.
Yeah. Maybe it's not there anymore, but it definitely was within a year ago.
Yeah.
Like buy Adobe share and get like some % off, which I find just hilarious.
And to Tony's question, what PE is too high for Terry? I think Terry pays a lot more attention to earnings yield in terms of how cheap a business or expensive a business is as compared to price to earnings ratio. So a little different. Any other funds we should take a look at? We're running up close to time here.
Yeah,
but
last one or answer a question. What do we want to do? I've covered quite a few.
We have.
I just want to point out something interesting about Markel. They own Berkshire. It's the biggest holding in their 13F. Berkshire bought Markel in the last quarter, small position.
That was quite puzzling.
And then there's some insider buying going on at Markel. So
It's a buyback.
a lot going on there. Yeah.
that is
I'm waiting for Tencent to buy out Prosus. That's what
yeah,
I'm waiting
right.
for. That would be fantastic.
Actually pull up what's happened with Baba on Data Roma. Just curious the activity in the last quarter. You can get an overview.
For Baba, you said?
Tax loss harvesting. That's pretty much what's happening.
Let's harvest.
Everyone.
That is going to be the word of 2021 or 2022. Tax loss harvest, especially this first half.
Jason, have you switched out of your position? Are you still holding Baba and then waiting for Prosus?
We've got 24 days.
24 days.
24 days. Yeah. I'm about something like that. I've got a few more weeks.
Crossing out the calendar.
Yeah. And then I can buy back into Prosus at that point if I want to and keep the tax loss on the books, which is real money.
Baba.
And so
Charlie with the tax loss harvest there.
Jack, you have to talk about Bill Miller.
Bill Miller. Should we look at Bill Miller? He is all
He
over
bought
the place.
Foot Locker, guys.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Really? Oh, Foot Locker was going to put out
confidence.
earnings today. Let me see.
They had pretty good earnings relative to everything else.
They had earnings. Wow.
They've been earning money. That's not really the problem.
Okay.
It's that people are scared of that they're going to shrink a lot.
Yep.
Also makes sense.
Just a stinky gym sock. That's what
You guys, we just got a super
chat. As Tom would say, super chat. It's a question for you, Brad. So we'll give you the mic here. Brad was asking, what is that? Domo's. What is that?
Domo. So Domo Capital is a fund in Wisconsin. Again, I grew up in Wisconsin. This guy manages about 50 million, so it's not on the 13F radar at all.
Okay.
But he's generated like 20% returns, I think, for like a decade. So pretty impressive what he's done. He looks for very obscure things. So this SLNH, Solana Holdings, it's like Bitcoin meets data centers meets renewable energy. And I haven't looked at it. He's joking about the 10-bagger, but yeah, I'm gonna take a look at it, see if I can try to wrap my head around it. But this guy has like half his fund in this one position, and he did a write-up on Seeking Alpha. So if anybody's interested.
But when did he buy? That's a big question.
See, yeah, I haven't figured that out yet.
Because in the last 2 years, it's a 10-bagger. So.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, guys! Don't forget. I think that company did it just IPO?
There was a change in the name, is what happened.
Okay, because I hear them talk about that on this other Friday show with investors, and I think one of them had invested with it. So I was thinking maybe it's something where it was private, and then he bought it when it was private, and then it went on the market. Not sure.
I don't think so. Well, thanks for the $5. Investing in stocks for the long term.
Yes, thank you.
I'll try to do some work on that one and make it worth your while. Should we pull up Bill Miller's on ticker?
Is he's not
Miller Value Partners?
No, I thought it was his name.
Jack's got a lot going on in his brain, and there's no room for names of funds that he does not invest in.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wow. Right, Luis, previously Mechanical Technology. That's what this company was called before.
Here's this itty-bitty Foot Locker holding.
Have you guys... Oh, yeah.
All the way down here.
How much is it?
High conviction stuff.
So cute. Whatever that is, 0.05% of the fund.
I wonder what's going on when you have that many positions and they're that small. If there's some kind of like thing you're doing on a mechanical basis or something where...
I would think so.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I don't know how you could pay attention to 92 holdings.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got a team, right?
Yeah. But even then, how much
So what's
extra
at
are you
the
getting?
top of his
Amazon
there?
was number one.
And he's had that for a while, I think. He was early on Amazon.
Amazon's come down a lot, and a lot of people talking about. They always say, "Oh, I should buy Amazon, or I should have bought Amazon, or it's probably a mistake not to own it." Well,
Yeah, what's your take on Amazon, Jason?
I don't know. I never get that attracted to it. Just
At
because
current prices.
I'd much rather own something like Google, and Google seems a lot cheaper. And then Amazon, honestly, the fact that Jeff Bezos is out of there, at least right now, it really does impact my decision not to look at it.
Is your understanding that he's fully out? I thought he was still involved to some extent.
Well, I mean, I guess what is he, the chairman and the biggest owner and all that? But I mean, day to day, making the decisions. What they tell us is he's not the guy anymore. There's a new CEO, so.
Yeah, I heard Pabrai say Jaffe is mini-me to Bezos, so I don't know much about Jaffe, but we'll see what happens.
I know he came from the cloud side of thing, and he's the one that kind of built that up,
Yeah.
which was impressive.
Yeah. I think you could do a lot worse than buying Amazon at current prices. I think it's probably going to work out pretty well.
Yeah, sometimes they show up to my house the same day with an order, and I'm like, whoa, this is too much. This just has to stop. And I'm like, can this even be real? Sometimes I'm like that.
It is always insane.
I've heard that from someone else.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where.
A lot of customers.
They just had a pretty massive round of layoffs, didn't they?
Amazon?
Mm-hmm. Amazon and someone else big. Who? Someone help me. There's some pretty big layoffs. I'm pretty sure from.
Alibaba's been trimming a lot of stuff. I don't know if
Amazon layoffs.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about, Jack. I don't remember which company though.
Walmart and Amazon both reported being overstaffed in Q1.
Oh yeah.
So
they're starting layoffs, I guess, but I don't see any numbers easily. I'd have to dig. But
Roman has a great comment there. Roman ties. Roman. He said
Roman Stees. Roman Stees.
Coupang. Markel, careful after dinner. What if Jassy is the new Tim Cook? That's a good point. There's CEOs they can be great for their time in the business and the evolution of a business. And so like Tim Cook is perfect once Apple's already created and the magic is there. So maybe, I don't know, but Bezos did it all. He did it logistically. He did the X's and O's, but he also did the big ideas and the capital allocation as well.
now he just wants to get to space.
Yeah, he's all space now. I got to
space.
imagine. Yeah.
I'm going to make an early prediction that he comes back one day, just like Howard Schultz is back at Starbucks. And
is that right?
What?
That's a big prediction.
Oh yeah, I
think it's plenty plausible.
I see that happening. The man needs to be there. The company could end up in a spot where it needs him. I just have that feeling.
Okay. Not a bad take. We'll see what happens.
Speaking of Starbucks, do you guys have any kind of feeling about Starbucks? It just seems to be this massive company that used to have magic to it, and now the stock price is down a ton. Nobody cares. The brand seems like a lot weaker. The magic is gone. There's all these people talking about unionizing
pandemic year, man. That pandemic
Starbucks.
year.
I know it just seems like it's. It just.
I was pretty happy when Ackman sold because I thought it was pretty expensive at the time. I haven't really looked since, but.
But it's not the first time Howard Schultz has come back, right? He keeps coming back. This is the third time.
Third time.
And now they got their union issues that are taking all the headlines. I don't know if that's going to be a thing.
And it just feels like the magic is gone. It just feels like another.
It's because they stopped buybacks. They were going to do a bunch of buybacks, and they stopped that to allegedly appease the union effort, or I don't know, something like that. We'll see.
I don't have a take. I don't have a take on Starbucks.
Yeah, I haven't done any real research though.
Brad, do you drink coffee?
I do, and I think Starbucks is crap in terms of coffee. So I'm kind of a coffee snob.
Vicious.
What do you
not my
drink?
thing.
If
I drink
looking for
straight
good
up
coffee.
light roast. I like single source, maybe Ethiopia, sometimes Mexico.
Wow.
He's a
Yeah.
connoisseur.
Where do you
isn't he?
get it? Like local
Is that
stores?
trade
kind of deal?
coffee? Is that trade?
Yeah, I just get it at Whole Foods. Actually,
Oh, Whole
that's where I
Foods.
get it most often.
Oh. Amazon.
So
Amazon. I get
yeah.
it from Amazon. Yeah.
Essentially. All right. Shall we wrap it up there?
We
For a decently
shall.
fruitful
Should we-
13F season here. We had a lot of things going on. For
What
better
do you
or for
think,
worse.
Karan? Better than Q4? I know you're kind of disappointed in Q4 in terms of what there was to look at. No, you're not sold on
Not
Q1.
really. Not really.
I
Was there
think
any
it's
idea that really stood out to anyone? Like anything?
I thought this was a massively boring quarter compared to the moves in the market since the quarter. All this
I
stuff
think,
that's
I
going on
think
in
this
the
next
market.
quarter is going to
The
be
next
pretty
quarter is
dramatic.
going to be incredible.
dramatic.
I have a feeling.
See, this is why it works. We're all optimistic all the time. So
Well, yeah, it's because we're contrarian, we're value people. Like everyone's pessimistic right
We're
now. So now we're
delusionally
optimistic.
optimistic.
There's going to be a bunch of activity.
You guys have a massive audience filled with the smartest investors out there, and you all are extremely smart and wise investors as well. I just want to throw out a name out there that's at a 52-week low, and I would like you all, if you have any thoughts, or your audience, to find me on Twitter and tell me what to do. But
Wait, is this a shipping company?
no.
Okay.
But a company that relies on shipping to get stuff to their stores, Best Buy, is at a 52-week low. You look at the PE, it says it's somewhere down around 7 or something like that.
Wow.
I think they are net cash possibly, or close to that. Like they don't have a debt problem at all. And when I think about, and now they have almost a 5% dividend. When I think about this business in terms of where they line up compared to competitors and stuff, I love Best Buy. I think it is an amazing business. And I don't think, I think they're doing great with like stores and internet and all that kind of stuff. That was before I made that comment. Frank was so aggressive. Frank is the new he is the new king of the chat because so that's what he called out last week. I gave it to him, and I was just at the time I was on the treadmill. I was just runner's high. I was just in such a relaxed mood, and this guy just keeps coming at me with like pretty violent stuff, pretty aggressive language. And I was just like, "You can have it. You can have it."
Jason,
Like,
Frank pulled out the big gun for you.
The yawn.
That's
yeah.
Whew.
I wonder if Frank even knows what Best Buy is.
Well, Jason, you put your intention out there. Anyone who knows anything about Best Buy, reach out to Jason on Twitter.
2.5 billion free cash or so, about a 17 billion market cap. They are.
Yeah, I guess the reason I'm not like it's not in my portfolio yet is how do they grow? Like how much growth is really there? Yeah,
I don't think you're relying on growth.
Jason is the scuffed Frank. We have enough ball guys in punch card. Guys, this is getting very personal right now.
Okay, we should wrap.
We better shut it down before
we have to
out
start
of hand.
censoring.
Before punches are thrown.
Let's wrap.
Throwing punches on punch card.
Yeah. Jason, your mic's
Did
off.
you just cut Jason's mic?
Yeah.
Wow,
no, I intentionally cut my own mic because I had to get some things off my chest. And, I didn't want them to say them out loud. I mean, I don't know what the deal with Frank is. I don't know if we need to do some jujitsu and he needs to tap him on the bum. I don't know what he needs.
When we do our in-person show,
I'm happy to tap out to
Luis
Frank.
Kind of sums it up perfectly.
Frank's the man.
Punch in the face card. Well said, Luis. With that said, before it gets too frothy, please like, comment, subscribe. If you want to see a SmackDown, we can host an event sometime. We'll have to pick a location. Maybe we can meet in a neutral location like the UAE. Karan can host, and then we can announce her there. We can do our first official punch card SmackDown, and see who wins that. So if you guys want to see that, be sure to comment below, and we can do what we can to organize something like that.
I hope not.
Otherwise, Seeking Alpha discount link. Please use it. It's great. You can look up all your weird, obscure holdings that we like to look at, and then there's some good stuff on there. Share site, portfolio tracking, another discount link down there, helps the channel out a ton. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks for stopping by again, Jason. We appreciate it as always. And until next time, everyone.